Look at your phone right now. How many notifications do you have? 10, 50, 100? Just take a second and actually look before reading any further. Now, look around your room. How many things do you see that you didn't even touch this month? A charger for a phone you don't own anymore? A shirt with the tag still on it? A drawer you haven't opened since last winter, maybe not even since last year? And now think about your mind. How many thoughts, right now, are about yesterday? How many are about tomorrow? How many are actually about this exact moment, right here, right now? If your phone feels full, your room feels full, and your mind feels full, then your life feels full too. Full, but not happy. Busy, but not peaceful. And here's the part that surprises most people once they really think about it. None of this happened on purpose. Nobody planned it. It just built up quietly, day after day, message after message, object after object, until one ordinary morning, it suddenly felt like too much. Today, that changes. Not in one big dramatic moment, in small, quiet ones. In the next few minutes, I am going to show you 9 simple changes. Small changes. Changes that take 5 minutes, not 5 years. And the last one is so simple that most people ignore it completely. Almost everyone skips it, but it is the one change that actually holds all the other 8 together, like the string that holds a set of beads. Without it, the beads just scatter. So stay with me. Don't skip to the end. Because if you skip it, you will miss the one piece that makes everything else actually work. Let's start with a woman named Mira. Her story might feel a little too familiar. Mira's alarm rings at 6:40 in the morning. Before her eyes are even fully open, her hand is already on her phone. This happens before she even remembers her own name, almost like a reflex. 15 new messages, 3 missed calls, 100 posts she didn't ask to see, a stranger's vacation photos, a coworker's complaint about traffic, an ad for shoes she looked at once, 3 weeks ago, and somehow never forgot, following her from app to app. By 6:50, Mira already feels tired, and she hasn't even left her bed yet. Her day hasn't started, but somehow her energy already has a small crack in it. She walks to her closet. It's full, genuinely full, packed from left to right, but she stands there for 5 full minutes, saying the same sentence she says almost every morning. I have nothing to wear. It sounds strange, doesn't it? A closet full of clothes, and still nothing feels right. She grabs coffee, checks her phone again while it's still too hot to drink, answers 3 messages while brushing her teeth, and rushes out the door with her heart already racing. Before 8 a.m., keys in one hand, half a piece of toast in the other. By 9 a.m., before her workday has truly started, Mira is already exhausted. Not from work, from everything before work. Maybe this sounds a little too familiar. Maybe this is your morning too, almost word for word. Here is the strange part. Mira is not lazy. She is not doing anything wrong, exactly. She is simply doing what almost everyone does. She is living a complicated life, without ever choosing it. Nobody sat down one day and planned this chaos. It just built up, day by day, message by message, object by object. Until one day, Mira looked around her small apartment and asked herself a quiet question. Why does everything feel so heavy when nothing actually happened today? That single question is where real change begins. Not with a big life event, not with quitting your job, or moving to another country, or deleting every app you own. Just one honest question, asked quietly, on an ordinary Tuesday, while the coffee is still too hot to drink. So Mira decided to try something different. Not everything at once, just one small thing. And that one small thing is where we begin too. Trick 1. The 5-minute rule for your mind. Here is something almost nobody tells you. Your mind is not naturally noisy. It becomes noisy because of what you feed it, first thing in the morning, before it even has a chance to wake up on its own terms. The very first thing you do after waking up sets the tone for your entire day. If the first thing you do is check messages, your brain immediately jumps into react mode. It starts solving other people's problems, answering other people's questions, and absorbing other people's emotions before it has even solved a single thing for itself. Mira tried something small. She put her phone in another room overnight. Just that. Nothing else changed at first. No new app, no new plan, no big promise to herself. Just one phone moved 10 steps away from her bed. The next morning, instead of grabbing her phone, her hand grabbed nothing. For a moment, she just lay there, a little confused, almost like her hand didn't know what to do with itself. So she did something she hadn't done in years. She just breathed. In and out. 5 minutes, no phone, no noise, no messages, just the sound of her own breathing and the quiet hum of the morning. It felt strange at first, almost uncomfortable, like sitting in a silent room after years of loud music. But by day 3, something shifted. Her mornings felt slower, calmer, like she finally had 5 minutes that belonged only to her before the whole world came rushing in and asked something from her. Try this tonight. Charge your phone outside your bedroom, just for one night. See what happens when your first 5 minutes belong to you and not to a screen full of other people's lives. This is a small trick, but it is also the reason many people who try to declutter their whole life in one single weekend fail completely and quietly give up by Sunday night. They skip this first step and jump straight into cleaning closets and deleting apps while their mind is still running at full speed underneath it all. You cannot build a calm life on top of a noisy mind, the same way you cannot build a stable house on shaking ground. So we start here, quietly, before anything else. Trick 2. The 3-question filter. Now here is where it gets interesting, because this next trick is the one that changes how a room actually feels, not just how it looks in a photo. Mira looked at her closet, the same closet where she always said, "I have nothing to wear," even though it was completely, almost embarrassingly full. She picked up one shirt and asked herself 3 simple questions, one at a time, out loud, like she was interviewing the shirt for a job. Do I actually wear this? Do I actually like how I feel when I wear this? Would I buy this again today if I saw it in a store right now? If the answer was no to all 3, into the donation bag it went, without guilt, without a long story about why she bought it in the first place. She expected this to take hours, maybe even the whole afternoon. It took 20 minutes, and by the end, her closet had almost half the clothes it had before. But every single item left was something she genuinely loved, genuinely wore, genuinely felt good in. The next morning, getting dressed took her 90 seconds. Not because she had fewer choices in a sad, limited way, but because every choice left standing was actually a good one. There was nothing left to hesitate over. This is the part most people get wrong when they hear the word simple. They think it means less stuff, no matter what, at any cost, thrown away in one angry weekend of cleaning. But that's not quite it. Simple means only the stuff that earns its place. A room with 10 things you love feels more peaceful than a room with 100 things you only tolerate, or half forgot you even owned, sitting in a corner collecting dust. Pick one drawer today, just one, nothing more, and run it through those same 3 questions. Not your whole house, not even your whole closet. One drawer. You'll be surprised how light that alone can make you feel, almost immediately. Trick 3. The time leak you don't notice. Here's a question for you, and take a real second to think about it. Where did your last free hour actually go? Most people cannot answer that question honestly. Not because they were doing something important, but because their time quietly leaked away, one small distraction at a time. A video here, a scroll there, a just 5 more minutes that quietly became 40, without any clear moment where a real decision was made. Mira decided to test something for one single day. Every time she picked up her phone without a clear reason, not to call someone, not to check the time for a meeting, just out of habit, she made a small mark on a piece of paper sitting next to her keyboard. By the end of the day, she had 31 marks. 31 times, her hand moved to her phone out of pure habit, not real need. 31 small time leaks, each one only a minute or 2 on its own, but added together, over an hour, completely gone, and she couldn't even remember most of it afterward, like trying to remember a dream from the night before. This is not about deleting your phone or living without technology like it's the enemy that ruined your life. It's about seeing clearly, for the first time, where your hours are actually going, honestly, without any excuses. Because you cannot fix a leak you never noticed in the first place, no matter how hard you try. So here's a small challenge. For just one day this week, keep a small tally, on paper or in your notes app. Every unplanned phone check gets a mark. You don't need to change anything yet. Just count, honestly, without judging yourself. What you discover might surprise you more than anything else in this entire video. Trick 4. Choosing 3, not 30. Mira used to write to-do lists with 15, sometimes 20 tasks, scribbled quickly before her coffee even finished brewing. Every night, she'd look at her list, see 12 unfinished items staring back at her, and feel like a failure, even on days she had actually worked hard, focused, and gotten real things done. The problem wasn't her effort. It was the list itself. 20 tasks is not a plan. It's a wish list dressed up to look like a plan. So she tried something different. Every morning, before anything else, before even opening her email, she wrote down exactly 3 tasks. Not 20, 3. One for work, one for her body, one for herself, personally. The strange part? She started finishing her list almost every single day. And finishing 3 real, meaningful things felt better, and honestly more productive, than starting 20 and finishing barely half. This works because your brain treats a short list completely differently than a long one. A long list creates pressure, and pressure creates avoidance. You delay starting because the whole thing feels too heavy to lift. A short list creates focus, and focus creates momentum. 3 tasks feels doable, right from the first glance. 20 feels like drowning before you even pick up a pen. Tomorrow morning, before you open any app, before you check a single message, write down 3 tasks. Just 3. Watch how different your day feels by evening, and how different your mind feels when you close your laptop. Trick 5. The people who drain you and the ones who don't. This next one is a little uncomfortable to talk about, but it might be the most important trick in this entire video, so let's not rush past it. Mira had a friend, let's call her Leah, who she talked to almost every single day. And every single time they talked, Mira felt a little heavier afterward, like she was carrying something extra when she hung up the phone. Not because Leah was a bad person, she wasn't, but every conversation somehow turned into complaints, comparisons, and small, steady doses of negativity, one text at a time. Mira also had another friend, Sophia, who she saw much less often, maybe once every few weeks. But every time they talked, Mira left the conversation feeling lighter, calmer, even a little inspired, like she wanted to go do something with her day afterward. Here's the uncomfortable question Mira finally asked herself, sitting alone one evening, phone in her lap, scrolling through old messages. Why was she spending 5 times more energy on the relationship that drained her, and almost none on the one that quietly filled her up? This is worth pausing on, right now, for you too. Think of 2 or 3 people in your own life. After spending time with them, do you usually feel lighter or heavier once the conversation ends? You don't need to end any friendship dramatically, and you don't need to send an angry message to anyone. You simply need to notice the pattern, honestly and slowly, gently. Give a little more of your time to the people who give you energy back, and a little less to the ones who don't. Mira didn't cut Leah out of her life completely. She just stopped calling every single day, and she started calling Sophia a little more often instead. That's it. That's the whole change. And that one tiny shift changed how her entire week felt, without a single dramatic conversation or difficult goodbye. Trick 6. Buy less, feel more. One evening, Mira almost bought a new pair of shoes online. Not because she needed them, her closet, remember, was already carefully sorted by now, just because she saw them, and for a second they made her feel excited, like something in her chest lit up. Instead of buying them right away, in that exact excited moment, she closed the tab and told herself something simple. If I still want these tomorrow, with a calm mind, I'll buy them then. The next day, she had completely forgotten about the shoes. Not even a little pull toward them remained. This happened again, and again with other items over the following weeks. Item after item that felt urgent and necessary in the moment simply lost its pull, completely, entirely, after one single night of waiting, like a balloon slowly losing its air. Here's why this trick works so well, and why it isn't really about money at all. Most of our shopping isn't really about the object itself. It's about a feeling underneath it. Boredom, stress, comparison, a hard day at work. The object promises relief, and for a second it delivers a small spark of it. But real relief never actually comes from the object. It flickers and goes in seconds, while the item stays in your closet, unused, sometimes for years, quietly reminding you of a feeling you've already forgotten. Try it with your very next purchase, whatever it is, big or small. Just wait one night, let the feeling pass on its own. Then decide again, with a calm mind, not an excited one. Trick 7. One routine, many fewer decisions. Here's something that explains a lot once you understand it, and once you do, you will never look at your day the same way again. Every choice you make, what to wear, what to eat, when to start work, what to do first, what to reply to first, uses up a small amount of mental energy, like a battery slowly draining. By the afternoon, after 50 small decisions you barely even noticed making, your brain is tired, even if your body technically isn't. Mira built a simple morning routine. Wake up, drink water, 5 minutes of quiet, one important task first, before checking anything else, before letting the world in. Every single day, the exact same order, almost without thinking, like a small dance she already knew the steps to. At first, it felt boring, even a little rigid. But within 2 weeks, she noticed something unexpected. Her mornings required almost no thinking at all. Her energy, which used to quietly disappear on tiny, forgettable decisions, was now saved for things that actually mattered later in the day. This is the secret nobody tells you about people who seem to have endless energy, who seem to get so much done before lunch while everyone else is still deciding what to eat for breakfast. It's usually not that they have more energy than you. It's that they waste less of it on small, repeated decisions, because a routine already made those decisions for them once in advance, so their willpower stays free for the things that actually matter. A simple routine isn't boring, it's freedom, quietly disguised as repetition. Trick 8. Letting the old weight go. This next part is quieter than the others, but it matters just as much, maybe even more. Mira carried something for years, an old argument with her sister, one she replayed in her mind constantly, even though it happened a long time ago, and even though her sister had probably forgotten most of the details by now. Every time she thought about it, her chest felt tight, even on days that had absolutely nothing to do with her sister at all. One quiet night, she asked herself a simple question. Is thinking about this, right now, actually changing anything? The honest answer was no. It wasn't protecting her. It wasn't fixing anything, or preparing her for anything. It was just weight, carried for no clear reason, day after day, like carrying a heavy bag she never actually needed. So she wrote a short letter, one she never sent and never planned to send, just to get the thoughts out of her head and safely onto paper, where they could finally rest. And afterward, something in her chest actually felt lighter, not because the past had changed in any way, but because she had finally, gently put the weight down. You might be carrying something similar right now, at this very moment, an old mistake, an old hurt, an old argument that plays in your mind on repeat, late at night especially, right when you're trying to fall asleep and your mind decides it's the perfect time to replay it one more time. You don't need to fix it today, and you probably can't. You just need to ask yourself the same quiet question Mira asks. Is carrying this, right now, actually helping me in any way? If the honest answer is no, it might finally be time to gently set it down, even just for tonight. Trick 9. The one everyone skips. Now, remember what I promised you at the very beginning. The last trick, the one most people skip completely, the one that holds everything else together. Here it is, all 8 tricks we just talked about. The quiet mornings, the clean drawer, the 31 marks on paper, the short to-do list, the lighter friendships, the slower spending, the simple routine, the letting go of old weight. None of them truly matter if you don't know one thing first, underneath all of it. What actually matters to you, not to your parents, not to your coworkers, not to strangers online, to you. Mira spent months simplifying her mornings, her closet, her schedule, her friendships. Each change felt good on its own, like a small win. But the real shift, the one that made everything click into place, happened the night she asked herself one final, honest question. If I removed everything unimportant from my life, what would actually be left standing? Her answer was short, and it surprised even her when she read it back. Her health, her daughter, 2 real friendships, not 12 shallow ones. Her painting, which she hadn't touched in 3 years, though she used to love it more than almost anything else in her life. That was it. That was the whole list, fitting easily on one small index card. Everything else, the endless scrolling, the extra shoes, the friend who drained her, the 20-item to-do lists, none of it made the final cut. Once she saw her real priorities written down, in her own handwriting, on one small piece of paper, every other trick suddenly had a clear purpose behind it. She wasn't just cleaning a drawer for the sake of cleaning. She was making space, literally and mentally, for painting again. She wasn't just choosing 3 tasks to feel productive. She was protecting real time for her daughter. Every small change now connected to something that actually mattered, instead of floating around on its own. This is exactly why simplifying without knowing your priorities never really works long term. You end up with a clean house, a short to-do list, a quiet morning, and still, somehow, an empty feeling underneath it all, because clean space alone was never the actual goal. It was always just the doorway into the room that actually mattered. So here is your real homework tonight, more important than any drawer, any routine, any to-do list. Take one piece of paper and write down what truly matters to you. Not what should matter, according to someone else. Not what looks good online, to people who will forget your post by tomorrow. What actually honestly matters to you in your one real life. Everything else in this video only truly works once you have that list in your hand. Now, remember that question from earlier. Which trick felt the most true for you? The phone by the bed, the full closet, or the 31 invisible time leaks? Whichever one you picked, that's usually your starting point. The one small thread that, once you gently pull it, brings a little more clarity to everything else, without you needing to touch anything else at all yet. If even one part of this video felt like it was speaking directly to you, that's not really an accident. It's probably speaking to almost everyone watching right now, because we are all quietly carrying some version of the very same noise, even when our lives look completely different on the surface, even when we smile in every photo. So please, don't try to change everything tonight. That approach almost never works, as we talked about earlier, and you already know exactly why by now. Pick just one trick. Maybe it's the phone outside the bedroom. Maybe it's the 3-question drawer. Maybe it's simply quietly writing down what actually matters to you before you go to sleep tonight on one small piece of paper, in your own handwriting, in a quiet room, with no phone nearby. Start there. Tomorrow, come back and try the next one. And the day after that, the next one. There is no deadline here. There is no race. There is only you and your one real life, becoming a little simpler, a little calmer, one small evening at a time. If this video helped you even a little today, hit like, share it with someone who genuinely needs to hear this right now. A friend, a sister, a coworker who always seems tired, and subscribe for the next video in this series. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. That alone, in a world full of noise and distraction and endless things fighting for your attention, actually says something good about you. It means you're someone who finishes things, who follows through, who's ready for real change, not just another video watched halfway and forgotten by tomorrow morning. See you in the next video. Until then, one small trick, one honest question, one quiet evening at a time.